Welcome back to Severed Sons, everyone!
Flames!
We are a Frostmaiden actual play D&D podcast, and we are excited to bring you tales of the Frozen North and the everlasting Rime. My name is Ron Murphy, Dungeon Master, and around the virtual table we have...
Hey, it's Paul. Welcome. Hope you had a good day.
Hello, this is Ross. Thanks for tuning in.
Yo, I'm Josh. Eat those russet potatoes.
We don't have Blake, so I always forget. So, hey, I'm Zach, playing tracks.
Hi, I'm Claire. Is this where
There you are.
Yeah. Hello.
Yeah.
That's true.
It's Claire playing Spets. Hello.
And I've already said my name, so I'm not going to say
But
it
you
again.
could.
Tell them again. They got to know.
Good.
They need to
Ron
know.
Murphy.
Ron
Okay.
Murphy. Yum.
Do we have anything to talk about? Should we just dive in?
Something happened last game.
I got ice cream cakes.
Something stressful happened.
I feel like something important happened.
Less talk, more action.
If everyone is ready, let's begin tonight's episode of Severed Sons, episode 31, Destruction's Light, Part 1. Last time, you arrived at the Sunblight Fortress, only to see a massive dragon made of Chardalyn leap from the battlements and soar toward Tin Towns. As you debated on what to do, the stone gates of the fortress mysteriously opened on their own. You cautiously approached the dim chamber beyond, only to hear the Duergar within sound an alarm and prepare for battle. Rune, you barricaded the barracks door with a spear as Trax and Fang found a room containing a large map of Tin Towns. The Duergar broke down the door and poured out into the hallway, separating Donar from the rest of the party. Trax, you cast Enlarge on the Turtle Fighter, enabling him to hold off the Deep Dwarves, who also grew to twice their height. Donar, you valiantly tried to fight the rear guard, but fell to their war picks. However, as you lost consciousness, you saw a tall, red-haired Goliath woman step into the fray, saving your life.
Yeah, I did.
As the rest of you, and Spitz, who wild-shaped into a brown bear, picked off the Duergar stragglers, Trax studied the map and discovered that Zardarok Sunblight had sent his dragon Construct on a destructive tour of Tin Towns, with Dugan's Hole as the first target.
Not the whole.
Not the whole.
Not the hole. Fang cast a sending spell and sent word about the dragon to the missing Kai, who had parted with the group after defeating the dapperly dressed ogres. Following Spitz's lead, you descended the treacherous mountain path, intent on warning Tin Towns of their impending doom. So if we all go to the map, so I'm kind of backtracking a little bit. So you are currently here, the fortress is here, kind of on the southern end of the peaks. The way you came into Sunblight is that you had to come around the eastern end of this mountain right here, and then up to the fortress. Spitz, you know of a way down quickly.
I sure do.
She takes you to this series of rope slides and swings and takes you on a very harrowing, very quick path down to the tundra below. And it only takes about 30 minutes.
Oh, frick.
Wow, this was harrowing.
I think that was really fast.
And they were well camouflaged. You wouldn't normally have just seen them. Kai probably could have seen him with his high perception, but...
Unless you happen to build them yourself.
Ooh.
So after a harrowing journey down the mountains, you get onto the tundra and you can see the low-lying cloud being disturbed by the flapping wings of the dragon way to the north. As you head that direction, over the sound of the wind, you can hear the barking of dogs getting louder. And through the blowing snow come 3 wooden sleds, pulled by canines as big as wolves. The closest driver calls out, "Can we be of service?" And you see, and this is where we left off last time, you see this woman, older woman, driving one of the sleds, and 2 more sleds slide to a stop next to her. She is cocooned in cold weather gear, but there's an owl sitting on her shoulder, a white snowy owl. Her sled has 2 Icewind kobold zombies riding on it, and the other 2 sleds are just covered. There's about a total of about 15 kobolds, some alive, some quite dead. Wounds, but obviously moving, and like one of their eyes are moving at different directions. It's very creepy. Each sled is pulled by 6 strong dogs that look as big as wolves. And she calls out to you and says, I saw the commotion in the mountains. Is there anything I can do to help?
Well, are you providing us with a ride?
Perhaps. My name is Velen Harpel. And Fang, you know that name.
Yeah, Fang will raise a finger and he'll say, I'm sorry. Did you say Harpel?
Yes, Harpel of the Harpels of Longsaddle.
Of Longsaddle, yes. And with that, Fang will step forward and he'll say, I grew up in Longsaddle. I know of your family quite well.
Really? Do you know of... And she just starts listing off like 5 or 6 names, right? And you've heard of some of them, but some of them you haven't. You know the Harpels are a huge family.
Fang will say, yes, I'm aware of your very extensive family tree. I don't believe that our families had much correspondence while in the short time that I was in Longsaddle. But what I am curious. It's quite a coincidence to see a Harpel up here in Icewind Dale now, of all times.
Well, it's been a while since I've been to Longsaddle. I'm up here on some business which I would like to talk to you about. However, I see that there's a much more pressing matter. I was actually on my way. I have some friends of mine in Dugan's Hole told me that you were headed this direction. And I'd heard of your exploits in East Haven and in Targos, and I was looking for some adventurers that might be able to aid me in a little situation, but obviously we don't have time to talk about this.
Yeah, freaking right.
We need to get...
If you are willing to give us a ride, then we surely will be making haste.
I'll tell you what. And she goes over and starts kicking off some of the zombies off to make room for all of you, like leaving them behind in the cold. And you see him kind of like just point at them, and she like points off to the side, and the zombie just goes and stands there, unmoving. And she's like, there should be room for all of you now on these sleds. Which direction should we go?
How quickly can you get us to Bryn Shander?
Is that where you want to go?
I believe that should be our first stop, yes.
But it's headed towards Dugan's Hole.
It will be there long before we can reach.
Then we need to help them.
The best we can do right now is get to Bryn Shander.
Why?
Fang, make a insight check.
23.
Velen is watching Trax's and Brune's little argument closely, and actually has a little sly smile.
Look, the dragon will have destroyed Dugan's Hole and moved on to another city by the time we reach there. The most help we're going to provide is to the people that are still alive in the cities that are untouched. If we can make it to Bryn Shander, perfect. If we can make it to Targos, even better.
Is there a way we
And
can...
what of the people in Dugan's Hole? Do we leave them?
There is literally nothing we can do.
Is there no way to send word?
I don't have any way.
Leave?
We'd have to reach... They'd have to... Do you have a sending spell, ma'am?
Donar clutching his gut from where he was pierced just like an hour ago. He's going to say, I can only do it if they're like super close to me. I can't do it as long as the others can.
Sending is not a spell that I know. No.
Unfortunately used my last correspondence with Kai.
Yeah, Bruin, I know it sucks, dude, but we're just going to have to hope that they can triage the best we can. If at the end of the day we're saving more lives, if we could save all the people in Dugan's Hole, that'd be freaking bonzer, dude. But that means that everybody else dies if we focus on them, unfortunately.
Wow, Jonah.
My gut.
Succinctly put. Thank you.
I'm trying to be responsible, and I just almost died, so I've got a lot on my mind.
Trax, can you remind us the trajectory of the dragon after Dugan's Hole? Which direction does it go?
It's moving counterclockwise, so Good Mead, East Haven, Caer Denival,
Shander.
Caer Konig, and so forth. Targos
That's
and
half
Bryn
of the
Shander will be the
10 towns.
last.
Shander is the epicenter. And Fang, as he rubs his eyes, and they do seem to be perhaps the most equipped to let the other towns know. If we are only one group, delivering a message, then we have to rely on the help of others to help deliver the message. If we go to Dugan's Hall and nobody is there, then there is nobody to deliver the message. We are that much further behind.
Precisely.
And Fang's kind of like running through the logic in his own brain, and finally he's like, I'm all due respect, Brune, I think that Drax is right.
Does anybody have some paper and some things to write with?
I do, yes.
The best I can do is ask some birds to send some word for us. Because there's no way that with us in the shape that we're in, especially with you, and she points over at Donar, that we'll be able to fight this thing. And I hate admitting that, but it's true. But we gotta do something. We gotta get people out of there.
I'm sorry, what is your name again?
My name...
Yeah, we didn't...
Oh, hello. Yes, my name is Spets. This is not really the time for introductions.
Yeah, we could be doing all this
We
on
could
the
be
freaking
going.
dog
I was going to
sleds.
say that is a good idea, Spitz.
Okay.
Yes.
Who would like to get on what dog sled?
Are we driving or are we riding along?
There are, you can do both. However,
How many
the
are
people
there?
there are 3 dog sleds. One person can ride with Villain. 2 people can ride on each of the others. However, you can ride and a kobold is driving, or you can drive.
Well, Donar has a something that I didn't think I was going to be able to use, but a proficiency in land vehicles.
Hey!
So he's rubbing his gut wounds. He's going to step forward and say, back at the monastery, occasionally I'd have to run out and get specific ingredients. I think I could take a crack at those dogs.
You're hurt, aren't you?
Yeah.
And Villain reaches into her bag and pulls out a superior healing potion.
Oh, you have no idea how much this means. I'll make you the best potato you ever had when this is all over.
You can cook?
Oh, we'll talk about it on the dogs.
I feel like...
Talk about it on the dogs.
Fang will step forward and he'll say, is there room on your sled, Villain?
Yes, I have room for 1 person.
Well, if you don't mind, I believe I will take passenger on yours.
I think that I have to ride with the little loud one so we can work together on making these notes and getting them sent off.
Brune, we can talk about space. Come on.
Donar, this... Actually, let me write this down. Who's together?
We can talk about space.
Donar and Brune.
Excellent Adventure Part 2.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a hefty sled.
that's true.
Villain and Fang,
Spets and tracks.
and... That's
sounds like
going
a
to
show.
be fun. Okay.
Welcome back to Spits and Tracks on Nick
I
Jr.
can't believe he comes up to her knee. It's blowing my mind, you guys. I can't stop thinking about it.
Okay.
We got to do the thing.
Ron, really quick.
Ron, on your
The
back.
Yes.
superior healing potion. What is?
8d4 plus 8.
Damn!
Oh my god!
Get healed, bro.
Superiorly.
84 plus 8. Okay.
Yeah.
I believe in
Yeah.
healing potion superiority.
Dice crackling in my ears. I rolled a lot of ones, but I regained 23.
That's pretty good.
Total.
Hell yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm feeling a lot better. Thank you so much.
Well, if we're going to go up against a dragon,
Yeah, freaking yeah. You're right. Good point.
Better be in the best shape we've ever been in.
which direction should we go? And she asks at a Fang.
Fang will... He'll say, do you know Icewind Dale well?
Not very. I've been up here a few months, but...
Then head northward. If we come across the Dugan's Hole, the chances are we are going to see a dragon heading that direction. Keep us out of sight. If we can see it on the way and see how they're doing, great, but we are heading northward toward Bryn Shander.
Whoever is driving, make a survival. Donar, you're going to roll with proficiency since you have the proficiency in land vehicles.
Gotcha. So that's adding my proficiency bonus.
Yes, if you're proficient in survival, it doesn't matter, but...
Oh,
but if
actually,
you're
I
not-
already am.
Okay, so...
How'd that happen?
Spitz, are you driving the other one?
I mean, I
Probably.
probably, unless one of the
Yeah.
other kobolds can drive it.
Oh, I'm going to be writing the notes, so.
Yeah, yeah.
The kobold is, actually there's 2 kobolds, one on top of the other's shoulders, and the
Oh,
other one
man.
is like...
I wanna
and you
see
see it
this,
kind of
Ron.
like doing a whip motion.
Ron, I sent you a message.
Okay.
For storytelling purposes, Donar would have offered to Brune to get help with the navigation because he knows that Brune is struggling
Yeah.
emotionally with this decision. So I'm not asking for advantage, because I don't want to do that. But if that changes the roll at all, and if it doesn't, that's also fine.
So you start heading north, generally north. Like, kind of heading towards, because if you're right there on the map, then you're heading sort of like toward the Red Waters.
It seems
like between
pretty
Goodmead and East
split.
Haven.
Like, if we reach the road, the east way, or here, it seems like it's a pretty straight shot. Because I know road is better than tundra,
road
right?
would be faster.
On dog sled, it's 2 hours because you're in the snow and not on a road. It's
Yeah,
2 miles per hour.
So
what do you think?
Spitz would know that it would take 5 hours to get to Dugan's Hole. Oh, can I do math? 8 hours to get to Bryn Shander.
All right.
Unless I mathed wrong.
So
Which is entirely possible.
okay,
She's gonna be any eagles she can see, just like calling to them, asking them.
And I'll be writing. Trax will be writing to all of the
writing notes.
speakers that we've met, and I'll write multiple of the same notes. Speaker huddle. This is Trax Bobfoot. We met when blah blah blah. There is a dragon have done it, like that kind of thing. You know,
Yeah.
multiple copies in the attempt that
okay.
one fails.
So you start traveling. It's been an hour or two, and you get to, let's see, after 1 hour. Actually, I'm going to say an hour and 15 minutes. As you get further north, the clouds have begun to clear a little bit as you're getting farther away from the mountains, and you look far to the west, and you see something very unusual. You see this yellowish, bright yellow, thin beam of light heading from, like, you've made it about here, Dugan's Hole, above Dugan's Hole. You see this bright yellowish beam of light come down from the sky. There's, like, after a few seconds, you hear a big rumble. And then a few seconds later, maybe about 15, 20 seconds later, you see another beam of light. And then again, you hear that rumble. Kind of echoing as it, like, the sound takes a while to travel to get to your ears.
If we're about there, I might yell back.
Well, let's see. Here, let me do the ruler. So it's been 2 hours since you left the fortress. You got an hour 15, so you probably got to
That's a pretty
probably
good
like
estimate.
2.5.
Hell yeah, Ron.
because-
Yeah.
Quick maths.
Yeah, right there. Right there. That's where you are.
Does anybody know what that is?
I think we know what that is.
Specifically, no, I just know it's bad.
It's the dragon.
Yeah.
Presumably, it's breath weapon.
What are you going to do? Valen's looking at Fang and says, should we keep going? Should we veer off? What should we do?
So far on this trip, Fang has been really distracted. He's really not striking up any conversation. He's just kind of holding on, and he's lost in thought. And he kind of gives her some sort of offhand answer of "Just avoid it, move northward." And he doesn't really give her much time of day when she asks.
Okay, you've got it. Valen shouts to the other two dog sleds and said, Fang says keep moving north, moving north. And she's pointing to the north. And you see the kobolds like, yeah, 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 yeah. And the kobolds that's driving Spitz and Trax's is just like, quack, 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 quack. And the wolves look very, very
Spitz
annoyed.
is gonna say to them, since she can speak to animals at will, she's just gonna
nice.
say, I'm sorry you have to deal with them, but thank you, you're doing a great job.
They'll get theirs eventually.
I imagine Trax is just watching Spitz go. Okay, this is weird. Continue writing.
You're a 2-foot-tall lizard. Doesn't get a lot weirder than that.
Oh, wait till you hear my backstory. It's even weirder. Anyway,
Great.
Can we see, like, any of the buildings of Dugan's Hole at all?
Not at this distance, no, because there's hills in the way. See, like, you can see the kind of the lights coming from in the air, so you're really seeing it kind of like arc down.
you know, I imagine we're on. The sleds are moving, you know, as fast as they can. Trax is going to yell to Fang. He's going to say, "We should try to stop at East Haven if we can."
Fang does not respond.
Valen says to the other sled on the other side and says, East Haven! We're headed
Yeah,
to
all
East
right,
Haven!
we're staying the course.
You travel for another 30 minutes or so. It's been 2 hours and 30 minutes since you've left the fortress. You see one final blast of light, and amongst the light, you see it kind of like arc down, but part of it is obscured by black smoke rising into the air. And then the smoke kind of like billows as like dragon wing beat furiously. You continue northward. The importance of how what's happening to 10 towns is weighing heavy on you. Everyone's traveling in pretty much silence. Spitz, I'd like you to make a nature roll to see if you see any birds around.
Haha. Ooh, I rolled an 8.
It appears as if animals seem to be aware of something unusual happening, and they've gone to ground or hiding. You haven't seen any.
Sucks.
After 30 more minutes, silent travel, you're getting closer to, like, you're having to kind of go around some of the hills because it slows you down going up on some of those like big rounded hills, just traveling silently.
Suddenly, through the silence, the wind under everybody's ears, you hear Fang on his sled with Valen, and he very suddenly and out of very much nowhere just yells, "Frederica!" And he like starts kind of breathing like, and when he sees that he's talked very much out of turn, he looks up to see if anybody notices. And Fang just
what was that?
looks at her
Valen
really
says.
sheepishly. He just says, "I'm so sorry. Never mind." Then he shakes his head. He says, "Never mind.
My name's
Never mind."
Valen, not Frederica.
And he goes back to thinking and keeping his mouth shut. He's definitely embarrassed. He's kind of like huddled his coat up more to kind of not meet anybody's gaze.
You get another mile to the north. As you come around the hill, you see to the north, almost directly across the frozen red waters, you hear another crash, and you see the beam of light come down over Goodmead.
Do we have any sort of better view on like the actual damage it's doing?
You're closer. I think if you were closer to the red waters, you might be able to see across. Because Goodmead's up on the hill a little bit away from the red waters. You hear over the soft winter wind that's kind of across the tundra and the wind whipping by as you're on the dog sleds. You don't see any more lights, but you do hear crashing and things being just ripped asunder, echoing across the tundra.
All of those people.
What do you do?
Spitz is gonna quietly say to Trax, "Do you know how long it took between those lights?"
What was it, Ron? It's like 30 minutes between the end of the
Yeah.
last one and the reaching of that one.
It took about 30 minutes to. It was about a 30-minute travel, like before the light started back up in Goodmead.
30 minutes. We're not going to make it to East Haven.
It's 4 miles between Dugan's Hall and Goodmead. That thing can go 4 miles in 30 minutes.
We need to get to Bryn Shander as quickly as possible. I don't even think we have time to stop at East Haven.
I think you might be right.
How frozen is the lake? What are the chances we could cross it on sleds?
It's very frozen. I mean, the Red Waters is more like a frozen river. In Maer Dualdon and Loch Dinashir are big enough that there's like parts that are open water in the middle of the frozen lake, but the Red Waters are pretty frozen. I mean, you'd have to be careful.
What if we went through Dugan's Hole, and got to Bryn Shander?
I think that's a good idea.
Maybe at this point I think we'd still have to go to the east way, but maybe if we go across the Red Waters towards Goodmead. We can't save Goodmead, but it might shave off some time.
What's the plan? Valen says.
We're going to risk going over the Red Waters.
Oh, man.
Okay, it's your funeral.
Yours too.
As she asked that, Fang looked to Trax as if he's more invested.
Okay, 2 miles to get to the shores of Redwater. You get to the shores an hour later, so you are right about there.
When we get there, Brune's going to kind of nudge Donar and ask for the reins, or however it is we steer the sleds and just give a,
Mhm.
do not worry yourself on this, Donar. I will get us across.
Brune, when you're in charge, dude, I don't worry a bit. And he's gonna step aside.
To the north, you see just great gouts of black smoke, and you can see structures completely torn down. The mead hall, which is like the tallest structure in town, is still standing, but it's covered in smoke. You see one final bright beam of radiant light strike the last building, and you hear screams, and then you can see the dimmest outline of the dragon taking off toward the northeast. Everybody going across Redwaters, make a survival check.
Before we start, Bruno say, single file, follow my tracks as best as you can.
Wait, Villain waves at you.
Do you want everybody making survival or just the drivers?
The drivers.
All right, yeah, good. Okay.
Good
I'm
luck,
gonna use my
kobolds.
inspiration on that.
We got it!
Okay.
Great.
They disturb me.
Aren't you one of them?
I'll explain.
Okay.
It's not actually a long story. I'm an elf in a kobold's body. That's it. That's the whole
Oh,
story.
that's a natural 20 for a 25.
Let's go, brother.
Yes. Okay.
Thank God
Everybody
for inspiration.
after that has advantage on the roll because of that. You are taking the correct path over the frozen waters. Valin gets a 18, and the kobolds
Let's go.
Come on, buddies.
Come on, little dudes.
fucking 19 and a natural 20 with advantage.
Damn.
Ron, I was so scared.
This might be the most stressful episode. that
You
we've done.
are
Yeah.
BGM.
I'm so afraid.
I just want to throw up a little bit. It's fine.
I already did.
You make it across the Redwaters quite quickly, and are you going to head from here? It's kind of like a slope going upward. Do you want to go head north, knowing that the dragon is heading toward East?
Yeah, I think we should just go straight north.
It's going to take an hour and a half to get to the road.
On that hour and a half, if Fang can bend Valen's ear just
Yes.
a moment, he'll. She's driving, but she's behind Brune, so maybe she's not concentrating so much.
Yeah.
But Fang will say, "You said that you had friends in Dugan's Hole, did you not?"
I know of a tracker in Dugan's Hole named Iselm, and he is a skilled wilderness guide. He was telling me about a place called Jarlmut that's out west. I can tell you more about it later, but
Yes, I'm sure I would love to hear about it. My question is, you said that you had friends in Dugan's Hole that told you of our exploits and that you had heard of us. You don't seem particularly worried that Dugan's Hole has been potentially burned to a crisp. Are you concerned for your friend?
Iselm can take care of himself and can lead any survivors out of the city.
Can I insight check just like her story?
Yeah. Oh, wait. I probably can't hear that.
Well, you can't, yeah. She says, to be honest, Iselm is the only person I like that lives in Dugan's Hole. I've only been there twice. Met him the first time and then came back through when I was following rumors of your travels and your adventures. The people in Dugan's Hole are quite annoying.
Yeah.
23 on insight.
Yeah, she's telling the truth. But you get she kind of doesn't care that Dugan's Hole got destroyed.
Mhm.
It doesn't bother her.
I would imagine that Fang continues that conversation with her, kind of prods her a little bit on like why she's here in this moment, etc. But for time's sake, we don't need to RP it.
Well, she'll say, I do need your help, and I'm willing to help you do whatever you need. You are brave, a brave group of adventurers. I need a brave group of adventurers, and I'm willing to prove my worth for your help.
Fang he'll say, I'm sure that we can work something out after we deal with what is going on currently. But I would love.
She goes, yo! And like shakes the reins, and the wolves take off
And as
even
he
faster.
grips for a better hold to stay on, he says, "But I would prefer that you speak to us as a group." Fang did not. Fang's family, I feel like, did not trust the Harpels fully. Fang
They were magic users, yeah.
Yeah, Fang was always taught to kind of like steer clear of the Harpel kids and whatnot. So he's not on board with this woman just yet.
You've never heard specifically
Okay.
of her,
Thank you.
just so you know.
Cut to tracks. I am scared shitless right now.
You're telling me? I'm here with a group of strangers, while a dragon is destroying the only place I've ever known, and I don't know the townies very well, but I've grown a bit fond of them, and I don't know, if you're from the Dale, it's special to you. There's something important about it. It's got a lot of heart, and this dragon is just destroying it, and I feel so useless. But we'll be able to do something, I'm sure.
When I got here, I think I had a bit of a sense of superiority on these people. I'm wealthy. I'm from a town in the south, and I think I view these people as a city dwelling aristocrat. And I think they saw through that. They treated me in kind, and
I'm sure they did.
oh, they did. They were little shits about it. But you know, I've come to like these people, and I feel the same way. It saddens me that we won't be able to save that many of them.
But if we can save any of them,
Best we can do.
that's good.
To the east, you hear a giant crash ring out through the air, and you see another bolt of yellow light.
Under his breath, he just starts saying a prayer. Fultus grant them sanctuary. His mace glows a little bit on his hip.
The dragon's breath weapon continues to fire off every few minutes. You're traveling along the road, which means you can
3 miles per hour.
travel
Ooh,
3
an extra
miles
mile.
per hour.
Also, Ron, I wanted to ask, could some folks potentially take a long rest on the road, since it would be smoother of a ride?
Now that you're on the road, it's a lot smoother. Before, like, there was a couple of places on the tundra where there was like a fissure where you had to, like, a small ravine where you had to like get off real quick and like haul, like the wolves would jump over the ravine and you'd have to like kind of haul the sled over the ravine to get to it. So there wasn't really a way to get a long rest. You might be able to get a short rest in that time, but now that you've gotten on the road, it might be easier to make if you're driving, you won't be able to, but you could definitely take a short rest now that you're on the road, if you wish. Which direction are you going to go? So it's about 2.5 miles to the intersection.
We can make it to the intersection in a little less than an hour, and then
Do we have a visual on Goodmead at all? The actual town itself?
You look behind you and you just see black smoke, and you see some figures, kind of like large, tall figures wandering around the ruined streets of Goodmead.
That feels bad.
Do they look like? Can we see from here?
You just see outlines like from fires that have been, like, the buildings are on fire. It looks like they might be taller than 10 feet tall.
I feel like we might not also be fighting an aerial battle, but it seems perhaps the Duergar are on foot.
These don't look like Duergar. They look more like monstrous ogres, perhaps. Maybe
even better. Can I see if there are any other animals nearby? Even one?
Make a nature roll. It's been a while, and you're on the other side of the Redwaters, and you're closer to the forest here.
That's a 22.
You do see some birds, and they seem to be like flying from various locations and flying toward the forest north of Goodmead, trying to get to safety.
Spitz is going to look at Trax and really quickly say, I've got 2 options here.
Right.
We can talk to these birds, see if they can get some messages out. Or, I can't do them at the same time. I could get one of the birds to come here, and I could see what it sees for a while, and hope that it goes over to Goodmead and Dugan's Hole so we can get a better look at it. What do you think is most helpful?
I think getting a message out is going to be the priority over surveying the damage.
Great! Okay, wonderful. And then Spitz is going to call out to as many of the birds as possible.
Okay, you rolled, what, a 23?
Yeah, 22.
22.
Oh, well, never mind.
Okay. three falcons kind of land, and you see like the falcons kind of peck at the kobold, one of the kobolds that's like hanging onto the side. It's like, oh, look, chicken, rah! And he reaches for it, and the falcon
Don't do
claws
that.
it, and it falls off and boom, 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 rolls off.
The kobold does?
The kobold does, yeah.
Why would you do... So no, don't do that.
I thought that was
Okay,
kind of funny.
please. You are also a kobold. Okay,
I can
whatever.
hold my own. I'm okay.
The falcon says, he was being a bitch.
Okay, well, then that's fair. Maybe he deserved it. I spoke too soon. Okay, we really need your help. We have a couple of messages written up. If you could please fly them to these people. This other lizard man is gonna talk to you. Well, I guess I'll get a description and translate and all that. But
That would be appreciated.
if you could send word for us, you'd save a lot of lives.
Tell me who to talk to.
Great. Trax.
Yes.
We've got 3 of these birds here. Please. Where should we send the messages and who to? Give me a description. I'll translate into bird for you.
All right. Unfortunately, I don't think that Care Denival or Care Koenig are going to make it. Let's prioritize Tourmaline and Lonelywood. And Bryn Shander if they can make it. But I feel like perhaps all 3 sending north might yield better results.
Great. I mean, we'll get to Bryn Shander.
Probably around the same time. So yes. So Tourmaline, they'll be looking for Speaker Masio. He is a half-orc. Really,
Spitz is describing and doing little hand
he has the
things.
fang. Yes, really anyone. And so because they don't have to spread it out so far, he is going to pull out his recording devices instead, his little magical tinkering devices. And he's going to leave the message on there, so it's a little bit more obvious that it's something that someone needs to listen to. And he'll take out the 2, and he's going to record a message for, is it Speaker Matthew?
Matthew.
Matthew. Yes, I was like, oh, it's been a while. And then one for Nimsy Huddle, right? And Lonelywood. And he's going to leave. He's going to hand them over to Spitz and say, please, make sure that they get to them. Especially Lonelywood.
Great. And then Spitz hands them out, tells the birds, now this is very important. And she's going to pull out from her backpack like some jerky that she has with her, little pieces of like cured meat.
I would
and
like
give them
you to make a
birds.
persuasion roll at advantage because you fed the bird.
Yeah!
Nice.
Always feed the birds! Which is great because
Bag.
she's got a plus 0.
So nice.
12.
The birds seem to be agreeable to your terms.
Thank you very much. Did only 2 go? Do we still have 1?
All 3 birds will go.
Okay, we're
Yeah,
amazing.
I'll record 3.
Cool.
Because I'm imagining I'm saying something. Let me just double check. Hang on 1 second. Yeah, because I have 3 magical tinker. I'm not using any of them. It's a 6-second message.
What does
So
the
I'll
message
say,
say?
dragon approaching, seek shelter, tracks.
Evacuate's a bit better than shelter when...
Evacuates. Probably. I feel like that's Spitz saying that. Okay, yes. Dragon approaching, evacuate city, Bryn Shander? Hang on, let me see. Someone pull up a timer. Someone pull up a
I
timer.
like to think that you're recording it. Spitz is like, you
Okay.
should say evacuate. He's like,
Yes.
and re.
Because 6 seconds is
rewinding
more
and
than I'm
re-recording
thinking
over.
that it is. Someone time me.
Yeah. I got you.
Okay, ready?
Yep.
Let's say... Okay, tell me when to go.
Great.
Dragon approaching, evacuate to Bryn Shander. Tracks.
That was 3 seconds.
I got...
It plays twice.
There we go. Perfect. I feel like that's
Okay.
the relevant information,
So-
right?
Are these messages replayable?
Yes.
So they can play them over and over
Yeah.
again. Okay. So you sent one to Speaker Matthew in Tourmaline, and you sent one to Lonelywood,
Yes.
to Nimsy Huddle. Where does the third one go?
Suggestions? I guess we could try and send one.
Speaker
We could-
Nerith in Targos. might be worth mentioning, but
That might be a good idea, actually. Yeah, so I'll record one more.
that would get the word to Bremen quicker. We have not been to
So
Bremen
I'll send
yet,
one to
but-
Targos as well, because I don't think we're going to make it.
So the three falcons take the messages in their claws and launch into the air and head toward the northwest. You travel for, what was it I said? You like up to 2.5.
So that's a little less than an hour.
A little less than an hour.
So what was it, 8 hours total to get to Bryn Shander?
When you get to the intersection, it's only been an hour.
And then 5 left.
You get to the intersection, and you hear to the south, you still see the dragon flying, but you kind of like, you actually see it, like, and it's illuminated by fires down below in East Haven, but it's still in East Haven. You travel for an hour, and it's still there, and you actually hear the shouts of, like, men, and you hear, like, people actually defending the town, and shouting, and the sounds of combat, the sounds of, like, archers! Fire! And you hear East Haven fighting back. And then the dragon swoops down and fires another breath weapon ray.
Fang's ears are perked, like, straight up, like, listening to as much as he can, and he'll say, "Do you think that they have a chance of winning? Do you think that we could tip the scales if we went that direction?"
That's a risky gamble. It's possible that we get there and the dragon leaves and now we've lost 4 hours.
We are not well rested.
We would lose an hour and a half.
But to go back the other way,
That's true, that is 3 hours.
I think we have to put our faith in the people of East Haven.
We could try to go to Caer Donoval.
I think the dragon would beat us there.
I say stay the course. Sick of communication. Hope that they can weaken it just a little bit.
Look, I hate to seem heartless here, but I'm playing the numbers.
It would take us 2 hours to get to Caer Donoval. If they're putting up a fight with that dragon, the distance from East Haven to Caer Donoval, it could probably clear in about an hour. So if East Haven could buy us 1 hour of time.
If you traveled along the shore, it would be, because it's snow, it would be 2 miles per hour. But if you travel along the road, is
I have
12
7 miles on the map you sent.
from 7 miles from the intersection.
Yeah.
So it'd only be about an hour and a little over 2 hours to get to Caer Donoval.
If we go to East Haven and it is gone, can we not just go back to Bryn Shander, or like originally planned?
We can. I'm saying that we potentially lose 3 hours, but it seems like the dragon will carry on anyway.
I don't know how many more towns we'd be able to save in those 3 hours. Those
Exactly.
3 hours might give us more time to prepare in Bryn Shander. But if there are any other animals in East Haven, we could send word to them as well. Or we've told people to gather at Bryn Shander, so maybe they can send word as well.
You know that East Haven is much bigger. It's like the second largest city in 10 towns.
I think it's worth trying to save the second largest city in 10 towns, because they're fighting for their lives, and we could make a difference. So it's worth giving it a go.
The fight with the dragon will come, but we also must remember why we fight dragons. And Bryn's gonna start heading towards East Haven. He's just gonna do it.
Shoot. And his dog sled, he turns it, and actually you were just kind of parked at the intersection, and with a whip, Brune takes the dog sled and heads to East Haven.
Well,
I think that's a good call, Tortel. Let's go!
3 hours won't make that much of a difference.
Fang was also in turmoil. He had big puppy eyes looking at Brune, like waiting for him to make the decision. And Fang, he like squeezes Valen's arm and he says, "Follow him," with no room for interpretation.
You've got it, son.
Brune knows Donar hasn't had much time to kind of recoup from the last fight. I mean, he got healed a little bit, but he's gonna kind of look him in the eyes and just see how he's doing with the decision he just made.
I imagine that Donar would have just had a hand on Brune's shell the whole time and give him a curt nod. Not bad curt, but short, like, I'm on board. I'm on board. but he wouldn't say that. He's got his shutter shades on.
So you know it's on.
Yeah.
It's 5 miles to East Haven, so it's like about an hour, a little over an hour and a half. Does anybody take a short rest who is able to?
Bits would love to.
Donar is going to as well and spend a hit die. Maybe 2.
Okay.
With Fang as well.
Okay.
Before she does, she's gonna
Brune cannot because he is driving.
That's fine.
Spitz is gonna put a hand very carefully on Trax's shoulder and say, "We're gonna save some lives. The Dale might do better than we think."
They're pretty tough up here. Let's hope.
Sure are.
You travel for an hour and a half. You get to this downward slope that leads down to Lochdenishire and to the port town of East Haven. You see some of the buildings are on fire, but most are still standing. The dragon, it looks like you see it large and imposing. It sails down, and you see arrows fly up from the ground at it, and it veers off, flies up out of range, then it comes down and breathes another breath weapon onto another part of the town. So you're outside the city, and you see people running through the streets. There's actually on the shore right here north of you, you see stragglers, people who have survived and are leaving the city. They're currently trying to evacuate as fast as they can. It's several families. There's maybe 20 to 50. The attack has only been going on for so long, and the city's pretty big. So, but you can see people kind of slowly leaving the city, running for their lives. What do? You don't see any obvious guards.
Do we see
the town hall is here. You kind of see the dragon flying over the eastern part of the city.
Are people actively fighting this dragon?
Not on the west end. There are people mostly flying. You do see where the dragon is, closer to the middle of town. Because the town hall's here, and there's a lot of shops and stuff in this area. From your shopping excursions. Actually, you see flaming arrows. Actually, at one point, launch into the air against the dragon, and the dragon kind of this. Some of them, because it hits the stone hide of the dragon, and just kind of ping, 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 and the flames just kind of spark out, and it doesn't seem to be doing much damage. What do you do?
Shall we go there then?
Get us as close as we can.
Do we remember if there was a blacksmith or an armorer around that area? Place with weapons?
There is.
That's where we got our stuff.
Yeah. So you start heading toward the town, into the town. You're having to fight against a little bit of traffic. It's people are grabbing everything they can. You actually get past the cooking institute.
Oh man, how's it looking?
It looks like it's in good shape. There's big chain lock on the front door, but it looks like it's escaped unharmed so far. It looks like the dragon has only been in East Haven for, let me get my timeline, 2.5 hours.
Only. As we pass the cooking
Most
institute,
of the damage has been to the east of the town. You see smoke coming up from there.
as we pass the culinary institute, Donar would just grip the handle of the frying pan and say, to himself, "Stay strong, chefs."
Boys.
Okay.
Pour some
Hits
oil out.
himself on the shoulder and gives himself vigilant blessing.
You get to where the town hall is. Let's say the road takes you here, and the dragon has flown to the south and is starting to make another pass. Looks like it's starting to aim toward the town hall. It's quite a ways off right now. But you see guards have set up around, and you see Captain Argalath. She is commanding guards, and you see her really taking charge, and you're ready? Fire! And you see archers firing up at the dragon as it passes by. The dragon flies right out of reach as the arrows kind of arc right underneath it. She sees all of you coming up on the dog sleds. You just rode the dog sleds in the town. You see Valen, Fang, you see Valen reach into her cloak and pull out
He's
a
been
wand.
holding on, I'll say, to her, as it'll seem like he's holding on to stay onto the sled, but it's really just to keep her close. And as she does that, he squeezes a little harder on instinct, and he'll say, "You show us what you're made of here. Prove to me that I can trust you."
Oh, you've never seen a Harpel fight, have you? Twirls the wand in her hand and readies it. The kobolds, as you pull up, the kobolds get off and kind of make a protective ring around her. They're staying close to her. Even the zombies are. The guards who are fighting kind of look over at the zombie kobolds like very strangely, but the captain is like paying them no mind, is coming up to all of you, and she says, "What's going on? What do you know about this?"
The Durgar, Sunblight, he resides in the mountains. He's
getting his revenge.
Yes, he sent this Shardolin dragon.
Duck! Duck! And the dragon comes in. I'd like everybody to make a dexterity saving throw as the beam strikes the building next to you, and suddenly this rubble starts collapsing on top of all of you.
It's a 19 for Trax.
Brune got a 19 also.
8 for Fang.
16 for Donar.
Okay, Spitz.
A thick 6.
6.
Okay, Fang and Spitz, you take 8 points of bludgeoning damage. You're not buried, but you managed to get something like away from it a little bit before it
You did that
buries
at advantage, right?
But
Spitz. Yeah.
Me?
You get advantage. Barbarian, bruh.
What? Bro! What? Yo. Still learning.
I
friends.
played Barbarian last campaign.
Thank you. Okay,
I was like,
mean,
you have 3
that's
levels of
still-
Barbarian, right? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. So that's 13.
okay, you're fine.
Oh shit, you're right. Oh.
So Fang, you take 8 points of damage from the rubble, and you see actually Captain Argalath grabs you and pulls you away before you get completely buried.
Mutters off it. Thank you.
Do you have anything you can throw against it as it makes another pass? I think it's coming around for another pass.
Traxxas.
Do you notice that?
What's that? You go.
Donar is going to step forward and say, do you notice if anything specific's working against it?
I think we're doing some damage. We're able to knock some pieces of it off. It's obviously not a dragon. It's made of some sort of stone.
Tell your men to stay away from the stone. Do not touch the stone. Do not come any contact with the stone.
Brune is going to ask Trax, do you know if the stone is weak against anything?
I don't. In my studies, I've only found that it potentially has some absorption capabilities, but also I know that it can also emit some less than positive effects.
Donar's going to look at the captain and say, "Oh, do you got any spare weapons? Because I don't get a lot in terms of range. Any bows?"
She goes
Javelins.
over to a man and grabs javelins, grabs bows, hands you a bow and arrow and a quiver, Donar.
Yeah.
Brune, javelins.
How many javelins?
I'll take some javelins too.
Javelins, whoever needs it. Fang?
Fang will definitely take, I guess, javelins. I don't think he knows what to do with crossbow check.
Spitz is also gonna take out her shield. And quickly say to Trax, do you think it's probably resistant to ice, but do you think it's worth trying to hit it with some ice?
I think our hypothesis is that we don't know anything about it so far, so let's test our theories.
Let's give it a go. Okay, great. Anybody who's small and wants a bit of extra
Bows at the
protection, come near
ready.
me.
Bows at the ready!
Oh, okay. here we
Trax
go.
is gonna just...
Fang will pick up a
Okay.
crossbow real quick.
Because this is basically a ready to action for everybody, so the dragon swoops in, and you hear it taking a huge breath, a mechanical, like, you hear like gears as it breathes in, ready to fire its blast. I'd like your attacks to go off now. No initiative, because you would go off. You're ready for the attack, and go. So who would like
do
to...
I pick up a
Let's do it.
hand crossbow or a heavy crossbow?
Big crossbow.
Would she have both?
She would have a regular crossbow, and she wouldn't have a hand crossbow, but she would have a hand crossbow and maybe a heavy crossbow as well.
I'll pick up a heavy.
The loading speed on heavy is kind of crappy. But
How many javelins did we get?
Oh,
She just
just
grabbed
kind
a
of a-
handful. There's like,
Cool.
yeah. Okay.
Donar's
I'm sorry, are crossbows martial weapons? I thought I just looked that up.
I think
I'm not seeing
they...
it on D&D Beyond now.
Oh, it might be. I think a hand crossbow or a light crossbow is simple, but I think a regular crossbow is martial.
Let's just go around in the order that I see on my screen. So Donar, go first.
That's a 9.
Okay. What were you using?
Short bow.
Short bow. The arrow just goes wide. Its wings are battering, and it's like the wind knocks the arrow down before you can get to it. Trax.
22.
That's hits.
All right, so I'm hitting it with my lightning launcher.
What's the range on it? It gets down to about
It's 90 feet.
90 feet. Okay, yeah, definitely within range.
And max damage for 11. Do I have time to supercharge it?
Yes.
All right, so another d6 for 2 more points of damage.
Okay, so 13 total. What kind of damage was this?
Lightning.
Lightning. Okay.
And I'm definitely trying to notice if it has any effect on him.
It seems to. You kind of see little black flecks kind of hit it and chip away as the lightning blast. It's about it's actually right at your range is 90, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's right at the edge of your range coming down.
Okay.
I need, let's see who else. Brune.
19 for the first javelin.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's gonna fly for 8 damage, 8 piercing damage. And then, so Brune has his javelins, stuck in the snow vertically next to him, so he throws one, then as, that momentum takes him, he spins, grabs one, and throws another. That's a 15 to hit with the second.
The 15 misses. It's like the one that the first javelin hits it, and it kind of alters its path, kind of banking to the left, and the second javelin just sails underneath its wing as it banks. Okay, Fang.
16 to hit.
16 misses. What were you, crossbow?
Yeah, I randomized. I picked up a light crossbow.
Got it. Just didn't have quite the range to get all the way up there. Spitz.
Nat 20.
Hey!
I was waiting for this nat 20.
Yeah, I saw your reaction.
Natchy yeet.
Natchy
I don't know if you could tell by my dancing, so a 24. I'm casting Ice Knife.
Okay. It's ranged at 90 feet as it's coming in. So.
4, but she would love to wait until it made it to 60 feet.
I can do that.
Hanging behind her little shield.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's what she's doing. Word. So double dice, right?
Double dice.
That's 10 points of piercing damage.
Okay.
And it needs
piercing damage, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
And then it needs to make a dexterity saving throw.
Okay.
DC's only 12 though, so I'm like,
Is this from a magical effect?
yes.
Okay. Disadvantage. Okay.
Wow.
That is a dexterity
Yes.
14.
Okay, word, it saves then.
Okay.
And I believe it's a save or suck on the cold damage, but
Okay.
Save or suck.
10 points piercing.
Okay. So it took some damage from the piercing.
Word.
And it looks like you did the ice knives. That the piercing damage seemed to do quite a bit of damage.
So no immunities.
With that, she'll just say, I think it took some damage, y'all.
Oh, frick yeah.
Probably wouldn't say y'all, but whatever.
You know what? We're in a
Okay.
fantasy world.
It felt natural. Y'all.
Y'all.
With
Yins.
Scottish.
There's 2 of you that it can get. It's kind of coming down and raking with its breath weapon. And there's 2 of you that look like it'll be in a line. Because it can kind of bank and come in, so it gets 2 of you at least. I'm going to roll 2 6-siders. And see the first 6.
If it helps, I feel like Brune would have put himself in a position to draw an attack more readily than the others.
Do an intimidation.
Oh, nice. Let's
Yeah.
go.
Well, how are you going to do this? How are you going to draw its attention?
When he was getting ready to attack, he was getting to the front of the group and putting down the javelins, just kind of staring it in the face. I don't know, building anticipation. It was a 16 on intimidation.
16, okay. It seems to be aiming your direction, and it lines up behind you. A 4-sided for the other. That is tracks, actually. Okay.
Oh
Oh no. Okay, I need both of you to make dexterity saving throws.
Hey, 22.
18.
There we go.
Fine.
no! Thanks,
You
fuck.
both save.
I'm in my quick armor.
Dodging out of the way.
Man, glad just things worked out that I'm in my stealth armor rather than my punching armor. Because I need a long rest to change it over.
Why?
So I'd be useless right now.
Useless.
Useless.
Muda, 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 muda.
Thank you.
You didn't help us in the Durgar fight.
You take 17 points of radiant damage.
Oh, still do. Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, as you feel like the burning, it's like the red
Shit.
yellow heat, and it flies off, and you see it actually flying past you and kind of like banking over the lake. What do you do?
So immediately after taking that damage, I imagine we're kind of out of initiative, right? Like we're not like...
Yeah, because you can always ready an action as it approaches because it's coming in from so far away. Like you'll get your attacks off, and then it'll get its attack off. If it lands and just wades into you, that's when we'll
Great.
So immediately I'm gonna reach into my pack and pull out my potion of radiant resistance.
Oh, here we go.
Okay.
Oh,
Consume
fuck yeah.
that. And
How long does that last?
I just closed it. An hour.
Got it.
And then I am going to pop a level 1 Cure Wounds, so I'm gonna... imagine this is probably pretty jarring for Spitz. I'm gonna take out a little capsule, and it's gonna pop open, and it's a little spider, and it's going to...
These little like legs pop out of it. It's like because when you hold it, it's upside down at first, so the legs are just kind of coming up.
And so it's spraying like an aloe vera salve on my burns.
Oh, nice.
As I imagine my lightning launcher is kind of like a, it's powered by the armor, but I need to like wind it up. So it's like I need to spin the zzz as all this weird shit's happening. It's fine. I'm fine. And so that is gonna do, 11 points of healing.
What do the rest of you do?
Brune just takes a deep breath and uses his second wind to give himself. Let me just roll a digital d10 because that will be faster for everybody. 11 hit points back.
Excellent.
Looking around where we're at, are we at some sort of like intersection?
Yeah, you're close to. You're about a block away from the town hall.
Fang, he says, right now we are one target waiting to be burned. Would it not be prudent for us to perhaps spread out into the buildings and into the, but staying close enough, of course, I can provide some sort of an aura of protection. But maybe if we spread out, we can divide its attention.
Yeah,
If
absolutely.
I could get somewhere with height, I'll be okay if I fall once.
I will stay here in the street, try to draw its fire as best I can.
Spitz, I'm gonna go with you and try and find some height.
Sounds great. Come on.
Okay.
As they walk away, he's like, stay within 30 feet of me.
Can do.
Okay. You start climbing. Make investigation rolls just to find like a proper vantage point, because you're not familiar with any of these buildings or insides of them. As you like run through, and you're like people are in there, kind of hiding in the buildings, and they're like screaming at you.
I
Like,
got a
Get
16.
advantage on that. But the highest is 21 for me.
yeah, you can find a nice spot where you get a good view of the sky.
Also quickly, Spitz will ask Trax. Now, I know I'm asking you a lot of questions, but I just trust you because you seem pretty smart.
No, well, thank you.
Do you think it's more worth it to keep hitting it with magic, or to do something that might protect me a bit more?
I'm worried that the creature has some sort of magical resistance. It seems like your ice knife did damage, but I might recommend doing something that might protect you.
Okay, great. Wonderful. Then, as long as you stay close to me, I might be able to help you in case of some more radiant damage.
I'd appreciate that.
Of course! Little one. Tiny pats.
All right. Okay.
Oh, I forgot to roll for Valen. Sorry. As the dragon went by, she holds the wand out, and 3 magic missiles, pew pew pew, come out and arc toward the dragon.
And Trax is definitely observing that to make sure it does damage. Imagine his little eyes of minute seeing the little, flip out the little spy kids glasses.
Oh,
Yes,
nice.
yes.
We all think it.
Well,
Yeah.
that only works. It only works within like a.
Oh, fine, Killjoy, Ron. Fine, I'm
was
just
gonna say-
watching normally.
Spitz would lose her mind over that. This is also probably the furthest in town she's ever been.
Make an Arcana check, Trax.
Okay. Oh, dang. That's a 13.
They hit, and you see little bits of
Oh, okay.
coming off of it. She says, and looks over at Fang, kind of gives you a wink thing. He says, "Not much. I just don't want to waste any spells yet. But how'd I do?"
Fang just gives with a nod. He's focused on the action.
Like baby knows. Now might be the time to waste those spells. We're fighting a
I'm
fucking
sorry, are you
dragon.
saving them?
The dragon kind of banks, breathes one more time, kind of knocking out a couple of these buildings here along the shore, and then suddenly banks to the left and starts soaring north over Loch Dinishir, away from the town.
What?
Shit! Get back to the dog sleds!
Okay, you start getting back to the dog sleds. Captain Argalath is like waving at you, and you see her suddenly get this really pained look in her face as she's waving at you. You're about 50 yards away from her as she's waving you. It's like, get after it, get after it! And suddenly, you see blood come up, and behind her, a Duragar appears. Roll initiative.
Damn it.
Oh my god.
Jesus
God damn it.
Christ. And life is a fucking nightmare.
Captain Argalath has taken damage from the fight, and she was not doing well to begin with.
Oh, no.
And this final, she just goes down as a Duragar is standing over her with the war pick. Let's see, Brune, what'd you get?
13.
Tracks.
Ah, shit. Where'd it go? Hang on, sorry. 14.
14. Bang.
Even with advantage, 9.
Dang.
Donar,
15.
15. Spitz.
10.
Okay. They suck too. Okay. Donar.
You said we're, 50 yards away?
About that. I'm just gonna say that distance is on the map right now.
Okay, so let me see. Nice. Okay. So, Donar's got his short bow in his left hand. Ooh, let me check my notes real quick, because I might be doing something new. Yeah, okay, so Donar's going to see this Duragar, and remember that very recently he was at the will of these things in battle. And he's going to say, don't let him get away! And he's going to run up 10 feet, or I guess 15, and pointing a hand out, I guess two fingers out, with his right hand, we'll say, if his short bow's in the left hand, and he's going to say, meet ne! And that's how Donar casts Fairy Fire.
Nice.
Oh no, all my spell slots. We gotta rewind. God damn it.
Oh no.
He does it, but then nothing
He
happens.
does it, but then nothing happens.
Rats.
Okay, so and
You start to draw upon your magical energies, and you're holding the frying pan in your hand, and like the shades in one hand and the frying pan in the other, and suddenly just nothing there.
God
No
damn.
magical energies to draw upon.
Do I still have time to shoot this short bow?
Yes, you can still take your action.
Well, that's a cool thing I was gonna surprise you all with. I don't remember what Meatnade translates to in Draconic. It's something fun. So Donar's gonna land where he landed on the map and fire the short bow, copying he copied Kai's elbow daggers. He's copying how Brune fires a bow. I don't know if there are specificities in what Brune does,
Okay.
but he's doing exactly what Brune does.
It's perfect form.
Yeah. Well, that's a 15.
Great.
Okay, 15 misses. He pulls the shield up in time to block the arrow. Just gonna right into his shield.
Donar was distracted because of his lack of fairy fire. So, okay, so yeah, as a bonus action, Donar is going to say to Brune, "You can do it better than I can. Go for it, bro." Giving him bardic inspiration.
Oh, yeah.
1d6.
Tracks. Your turn.
All right, so I'm going to run over here so I can get a clear line of fire on him, and I'm going to unleash a lightning bolt on him.
Okay.
Oh, hey, 26.
No, that definitely hits.
First one does 8 points of damage. Second, well, I'll charge it right now, plus 5,
Okay.
and then I'm going to try and hit him again. Second attack does nat 20.
Let's go, bud.
Hey, you!
Pew, 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 pew.
Oh, on a 1 and a 4, so 10.
He's still up.
And that'll be it for me.
Blood dripping off the war pick. Brune.
Brune's gonna take 2 of those javelins that were still stacked next to him, and he's gonna run his whole 30 feet and throw them mid-run. So the first one,
Roll
that
to
sucks, is an 11 to hit.
The javelin goes wide.
And the second is a dirty 20 to hit.
Dirty 20 does hit.
9 damage, and I'm going to use a superiority die.
The second javelin hits it right in the chest, and you just see blood.
Oh, great. Then I'll,
And the Duragar goes down to his knees and falls forward over the body of Captain Argalath.
Great. And that's the only one we see, right?
Yes.
Got it. Cool. That's the end.
Okay. Spitz.
Spitz is a little on edge. Because she's like, well, we only see one. But, who's to say? And she's gonna run up her 30 feet, which I think... I think I started a little too far away from the folks. Like here.
Yeah.
That corner there. I don't know how to move myself. Can I see anybody else there?
Make a perception check.
Great. That is 15.
You look around and you see, because you're not the only ones here. I didn't want to pull out like a billion tokens for because there's guards here on the shore and up here. There was up around there, they were getting ready to fire crossbows at the Duragar. But you don't see or hear anybody except for the guards who are very upset and starting to rush toward Captain Argalath.
That's as far as she can move?
You can dash if you wish.
I think I shall!
Okay.
I shall dash.
Okay.
Dashing.
Skipoo! To about here in the road?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you look down and you see Captain Argalath, blood coming from the wound in her back. It's kind of spreading out over the white snow.
I don't see anything else. I don't see any other hostile looking folk.
No, you don't see anybody. Is that it? Anything else?
I'm still prepared, and I would... Yeah, I just am hanging on to my shield.
Okay.
Suspicious.
Okay. She's going to make a death saving throw. And that's a 16, so it's one success. Okay. Fang.
Yeah, so Fang does a full circle, desperately looking for more threats.
Make a perception check. At advantage.
Alright.
If I have to.
18.
Fang, you smell something coming from this building right here. What do you do?
As a bonus action, as an action, Fang throws out his Twilight Sanctuary.
Okay.
He moves ever so slightly. He creeps in toward the building. You say it's just like a wall, like a corner. But
it's like a building. It's not quite. It's taking some damage, but it's not. It's whole. The building is whole.
Then Fang is going. He'll approach that direction, following his nose, and if you'll allow me, since it's not me, and I've used my action, I do believe that Pinky, if I use my telepathy and I say, tell me, someone is on the other side of this wall.
It allows you to cast Detect Thoughts, and that's kind of an action, I believe. Is Detect Thoughts a bonus or an action? But you've already used your bonus.
It is an action.
Yeah.
So I've already used my action for that.
Yes,
okay.
yes.
Well, then Fang will silently, he'll try to get Donar's attention. And if he looks, he'll just give a dead silent, he'll point to his nose, and then he'll point here to the wall. And he will ready a guiding bolt for the first sign of an enemy.
Donar's going to see that and silently nod.
Okay. So, out of the buildings, these enlarged Duragar burst through the stone walls, the walls, they're not stone walls, burst through the wooden walls and start to attack you, running at you, Donar, and at you, Fang. Fang, your guiding bolt goes off when you see it burst through the wall.
Great. That is going to be a 23 to hit.
Okay. 23 hits.
Oh, what terrible rolls. Ugh. Only 12 points of radiant damage.
And they rush out. The one, he basically just gets far enough to get through the door, the break a hole through the wall, and then uses his word pick to attack Fang. That is a 4 plus, that misses. So you managed to duck out of the way. Actually, he might be at advantage. Let me check this real quick. Because he's enlarged. No, he just gets that. Okay, yeah, it doesn't help. The other Duragar charges out of the building and rushes at Donar. And that is an 18 plus 23.
Yeah, that's gonna happen.
He does double damage dice with his war pick. And that is 10 points of piercing damage.
Okay.
On you. So he just brings it down, kind of like the wood, pieces of wood from the building, kind of like falling all around you as he's attacking you.
Ugh.
To the east, this Duragar appears holding a crossbow and fires at Spitz.
Where?
And that's a 15 to hit you.
Eat it.
So you manage to just kind of duck down as the bolt flies over your head.
Yeah.
Okay. Valen, who is up here to the north, fires another magic missile out of her wand at the Duragar that attacked Fang. And does that many points. He's hurting pretty bad. Okay. Donar's next.
So, okay, now I see the other one. Okay, so first thing that Donar is going to do is spend a key point to take Step of the Wind as a bonus action and disengage.
Got it.
Stepping away from this one to the north, but do I see any do I see any rooftop around that would provide a good, decent cover from either of these? Is their reach that tall?
They're 9 feet tall. These buildings are one story for the most part. I think the highest part are 15 feet high, and then towards the doorways, it's maybe 10 to 12.
Okay, gotcha. So I guess then what I'm going to do is, God, I have range now, and Donar is afraid because of his recent bout, so he is going to disengage, and he is going to go back in this direction towards what's left of this house.
Correct, yes.
Staying within 30 feet of Fang, and taking a look at this house to the west of him. Is there any possible way to get on this roof?
The southern part of it, yes.
Okay, cool. So he's going to scramble up that if he can.
Okay.
If I have anything left.
No roll needed because monk shit. Dope monk shit.
Monk shit, yeah.
Dope monk shit.
Okay.
So,
it's a little unsteady. If you did some serious combat up here fighting, if something was up here with you and you were fighting it, it might cave in, but right now you're fine.
okay, cool. So he's going to take purchase on this corner, Alton style. Who's that, listener? And with his short bow, he is going to fire at the Durgar, currently engaged with Fang.
Okay.
You have advantage from my god evil.
Thanks, brother. All right, so let's see. Thank God. So that's a 17 to hit?
That hits.
Nice. All right, so that is, as my dice fall to the floor all around me, that's going to do 6 points of piercing damage.
And how would you like to put this Duragar down into the ground?
Oh, man. Okay, so, unexpected. I guess Donar is still copying Brune, so he's going to take a deep breath. Alton style. Who's that? That was...
Does he have a cooking show?
God, different... he's the opposite of Alton Brown. He is going to take a deep breath and, I guess, find a weak point in this thing's skull and send it straight through on the first try.
Okay. The enlarged skull of the Duragar, suddenly just a boom, as the bolt, as the short bow, because there's shorter arrows, right?
Yeah, I imagine.
A little bit, and so they lands and it kind of goes all the way through.
Oof.
And you just see a little bit of feathers poking out, and suddenly the Duragar falls, and as it does, it shrinks down to normal, and you see the arrowhead burst out the other side.
That's such a cool visual.
Hell yeah.
And it falls down dead. And
Donar's gonna shout out, "One more northeast, I think. I don't have a compass."
okay.
I'm trying not to make too many jokes. People are dying. But that was...
That's how Donar deals with stressful
Quits.
situations.
Yeah,
though.
he definitely. Yeah.
Like Spider-Man.
Exact. Donar is Spider-Man.
like most Marvel.
He's on a building.
Like,
At the end of your turn, you get 7 temporary hit points.
Thanks, bud.
Trax, your turn.
So I am going to run down here to where he used to be, and then I'm going to put myself between the Durgar and Fang. And I'm going to unleash a lightning bolt at him.
Okay,
First one is a 21.
that hits.
That is going to do 9 points of damage.
Okay. Lightning just races up its enlarged form, like crackling up.
Second one does 22 damage. Or not 22. It hit 22 to hit. 22 damage.
I don't think so. Yeah.
10 damage plus
Okay.
a supercharge, which is going to do another 2 points.
Okay. It's hurting really bad. Okay. The
9 temporary hit points.
Thank you.
Brune.
Brune is going to just kind of normal paced walk at it with his he draws his flail, spins it. He looks the Duergar in the eye and just says, "Size does not equal skill," and he just goes for the legs like he likes to do.
Yeah.
That is a 16 to hit.
The 16 hits. He tries to pull his shield down. Like he had it like he was guarding his face against the lightning strike. And then he sees you coming, he tries to pull his shield down, and you just miss, and he hits right on the knee.
Awesome for 8 damage.
Okay, you hear that knee crack with a satisfying crunch, and he just like, "Ah!" and falls down, immobile.
Ah, shit.
Brune will call over in Donar's direction and say, "This one is down."
Hell yeah, dude.
And he'll do. Can I make like another just kind of perception check of the buildings or anything in that kind of east direction?
Really, you can't really make a perception check, so use your action to attack.
Gotcha.
But you don't really. All you see is a Duergar past the prone body of the captain and Spitz over there. And it is, speaking of Spitz, it is her turn.
great.
Sorry, Josh, 12 temporary hit points.
So with this, Spitz is gonna yell back to the guys, because she's the only one over there. I've got one more over here and a dying lady, too! And then, she's just gonna run up to this little guy,
Okay.
because he's small, and take out her great axe and just try to slice him in half.
He looks a little nervous. He just saw like his friends get just murderized.
Yeah,
over
she's
down
like
the
twice
street.
the size, almost, so fingers crossed. 16 to hit.
16 hits.
Word. You're gonna do
Like,
yep.
he like fumbles his crossbow, drops it to the ground, tries to get his shield out, and it's just not in time for you to like strike him with the oh no.
I rolled a 10 out of 12, so he gets 14 points of
Nice.
slashing damage.
Okay.
Skapow.
Pal. And anything else Spitz?
I think that's all.
Okay.
Spitz is out
Yes,
of Bang's
'cause I
aura. So
Don't have
get rid of
2
him.
weapons. That's okay.
Okay. Captain Argalath makes another death saving throw. That's a natural 1.
Oh no.
Okay. So 2 failures, 1 success. Fang, your turn.
Fang, so both of these over here are down. Can I make another, maybe like smell check to see if there's anything else nearby?
Make a make a perception check. This would be your action.
Oh,
You kind of like taking a second to kind of. You'll still have your bonus action, but
disregard. I'm going to take my full movement, putting me 25 feet from the captain who has been down for far too long. And Fang. Oh, no, that's touch. Fuck, I don't have any more. That's all touch. Yeah, he'll dash to get to her, but then that's all he can do.
okay.
So he's next to the captain.
Okay. The Duergar that is remaining, like, barks something. You speak Dwarven, don't you?
I sure do.
Hey,
Whoa, really?
that's a first for our group.
Okay. The Duergar says in Dwarven at you and says, "The Sunblights will wipe the scourge of humanity from this valley." and strikes at you with the war pick for a 16 plus for dirty 20.
Yeah, that hits.
He's not enlarged, so this is just a normal 7 plus 2, 9 points.
Okay.
Okay. You're not raging yet, are you? You're not.
No.
Okay.
No, I'm hanging on to that for the mo.
For the mo. And that's the only Duragar. No other Duragar up here. Top of the round, Donar.
Donar is going to whip around as soon as he hears Spitz yelling. Seeing the situation with the captain, he's going to quickly fire off another short bow attack. And that is going to be... how does a natural 20 sound, folks?
Sounds fantastic. Sounds dank, Paul.
So that is going to...
It's an air horror kind of night.
Oh, hell yeah. That's 13 points of piercing.
Donar, the final blow is yours.
Hell yeah.
Donar is going to say, seeing it attack Spitz, "Hey, you! Get the fuck away from our new friend!" And copying Bruin's style once more, he's going to go for the legs, because that's what Bruin would do.
Okay.
So I guess
Sweep the leg!
it's arrow to the knee, and then I guess the Duragar falls down and hits its head, and that's what actually takes it out.
There's like a chimney right here, like a fallen chimney. So there's like a bunch of bricks here. You hit the knee and it buckles and it falls, and its head crunches against the bricks.
Yeah,
and
it does.
Blood. I'm gonna keep going in rounds. Anything else, Donar?
No. He's gonna say as a bonus action. All right, there could still be someone out there. Is it metagaming? Because I know Trax is next in initiative to give him bardic inspiration.
You could do that. I mean, yeah.
Wow, your instincts are quite acute.
Yeah, dude, I learned it from you, and you can do whatever you gotta do next. And that's bardic inspiration.
Trax, what are you gonna do next?
All right, let's get out of here.
Bet.
So seeing that all of the current Duragar are down, he's immediately going to try and find his way back to the dog sleds and say, "The dragon has already headed north. It's time for us to make our way to Bryn Shander."
Yeah, Valen actually, on her last turn, went over to the dog sleds and was commanding them to kind of get closer to you all.
So that's going to be his turn.
Okay. Brune?
Brune will just start walking towards the dog sleds.
Okay. Spitz.
Spitz is going to go up to the captain and Fang, and just look at Fang and say, "Is she important? Can she help?"
As important as any of us.
Great. And cast Cure Wounds.
Nice.
And with a gasp, you just saw the blood was getting really wide in the snow. Deep red, dark red. And with a gasp, you hear, and the captain looks up at you, Spitz and Fang, and closes her eyes. "I gave all I could. Thank you. Thank you."
That will be quite enough. Thank you.
And you see guards running up to help her. "Go chase the dragon. Get that bastard."
We'd love to take any ranged weapons or any healing things that you could potentially provide for us.
I don't have any healing. We've used it all up.
Understandable.
Take as many javelins and bows and arrows as you need.
Great.
Fang squeezes her hand and says, "Thank you." And as he stands up, he yells at the guards. He says, "Stabilize this woman now!"
And they rush over. They've been running the whole time, running over to her. And they slide in with bandages and start helping her.
Starts running towards
her.
Are we going to go out? Are we out of combat?
We are now officially, because I had to stay in combat because if it got to after Spitz's turn, and I was going to roll the D20 in the Roll20 chat to see what it was going to be. But
that makes sense.
Yeah.
So Donar is going to jump off this roof using his reaction to slow fall.
Okay.
And then quickly scavenge and find as many arrows as he can for his short bow before joining them at the dog sled.
Okay. Trax and Valen and Brune actually bring over the dog sleds up closer so it's faster to get into them.
Oh, nice. Curbside.
Brune.
Spitz is going to grab as many of those weapons that you mentioned as you will let me.
Okay.
Yep.
You could, Wes, you have a dog sled to carry them on.
Yep,
You
sure
can
do.
get probably up to 12 javelins and 6 20 arrow quivers. Yeah, so like 120 arrows, 6 quivers with 20 arrows each, and what I say, 12 javelins?
Mm-hmm.
Brune is going to grab 5 of those javelins and with his straps kind of do a thing with his chest that they like are on the back of his cape and shell that they all stick up forwards.
Like several
Yeah.
fanning out behind him.
Are there a heavy crossbow is a martial weapon? Is that what
I believe so, yes.
Oh, would there happen to be one of those?
Yes. There's not very many of them. Just the heavy crossbows
yeah.
also have like a loading property, I believe. So it takes longer to load them.
Cool. But that's still...
Yeah.
Spitz would definitely take at least one of those.
Okay. And they give you a pack of 20 bolts to go with it.
Great.
Evelyn says, Come on. The dragon's getting away.
Let's go.
You have managed to save some of East Haven. Congratulations.
Good God.
You get on the dog sleds and you start out of town and you look to the north and you see the dragon heading out over the frozen lake toward Caer Dineval. What do you do?
To the west?
To the west.
Are you going to go along the road?
Yeah.
Okay.
If we go along the road, it'll take us 4 hours. Again, if you need a rest, I suggest you start taking it.
Yeah, Brune, I can drive if you gotta rest up.
If we can make it to Targos, that's even better.
Targos. True.
Targos would take us an extra hour, so it'd be 5 hours.
I say we try for Targos then. The original plan.
I will take your offer, Donar, and I'll hand him the reins.
Alright, you can sit in the back. Or whatever you want. I was making a card joke, it doesn't matter.
Don't
Shotgun.
backseat
No
mush.
backseat sledding.
No, like for the sake of like rest and road trip, you can like lay out. There are no cars here.
So the dragon only had 2.5 hours in East Haven. Okay.
Was the path like Caer Dineval, Caer Koenig, Lonelywood, Tourmaline, Targos?
Tourmaline and then Lonelywood.
Oh, okay. Got it. I see.
Yeah, so it was going to go...
If we can, I say if we get to Targos and still no sign of the dragon, then we press to Bremen if we can.
Yeah, we gotta save them. We don't even know him yet.
Bremen's only another half hour.
I say if we
from
get to
Targos.
Targos and we see no sign of the dragon, we make it towards Bremen. Agreed?
Good plan. Yeah, agreed.
Agreed. And the folks who need a long rest, who need a long time of sleeping, potentially called a long rest, should start that immediately.
As soon as we get
And
there, yes.
potentially there might be a little bit for when we get there. Because if we're on the road and they can start that rest, it might be good. Just saying.
Hopefully your falcons reached Tourmaline and Lonelywood.
God, I hope so.
What's their fly speed?
Would you say 90? No, 80.
A giant eagle is 80 feet.
Oh, I guess it's just a falcon.
It's a falcon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Falcon 5E. Here we go. On roll 20. It is 60 feet.
When Fang gets into the sled, he's gonna pat Valen on the shoulder, and he'll just say,
Let me do some math.
"Thank you for your help," and he'll settle in for that as long of a rest as he can get.
It's still bumpy. As long as you're on the road, you can get a short rest, but you cannot get a long rest in. Okay, so you travel up to the intersection, and that takes you. Well, you're on the road, so that's like an hour and about a half. As you're traveling out of East Haven, the first hour, you see, because you can see up to the shadowy, like, outcropping of the castle, looking over Loch Dinishir, the small town kind of like nestled around the Caer. You can see the dragon go in, breathe once as a white hot beam, yellowish radiant beam, lands, and then the dragon goes down and disappears into the town. You get to the intersection. What do you do?
Press on.
Keep going.
Keep headed.
You keep traveling along the east way, correct?
Mm-hmm.
It is 8 miles. So that's 2.5, I'm going to say.
Yeah.
You get to outside of Bryn Shander, and you see a small group of people at the gates, and they're like ushering them in. It looks like there are, outside of the east gate, there's about 100 people. They've set up some tents outside of the gate. You see some people who are just delirious, and they're like, please, we have to get inside, and the guards are like, what's going on? And you see like clerics are here, and they're treating some of the wounded because there's like broken limbs and burns. You hear like some of them just talking to the guards and letting them know about dragon. You just hear the word dragon over and over and over again. You don't really see anybody who's particularly in charge right now. Just the guards of the gate. They're trying to usher them inside, but they're also hurt. Like these the survivors are hurt. From listening to them talk as you're riding up on the sled, they seem to be survivors from Goodmead and Dugan's Hole. You actually see for a second, like as you get up there, and you see a guard escorting Speaker Dermot inside of the gates. What do you do?
I'm sorry, are you the speaker? I'm sorry.
You know Speaker Dermot.
Okay, I couldn't remember if we
Is
met...
he the Goodmead one?
No, this is... Speaker Dermot is from Dugan's Hole.
Dugan's Hole.
It was the woman...
okay.
I probably also know her.
You do know her.
Speaker. Trax Bobfoot, you met us a few days ago.
Yeah, I gave you some of the liquor. You just see like soot, and she's covered, and her arm is broken, and she's got it in a sling.
Look, I'm sorry about your town, but we cannot rest right now. Will you do something for us?
Of course, whatever I could do.
You know the speaker of this town, correct?
We have met at no, because remember.
Oh, they don't go to the thing.
She's like, I've met her. I've met her once.
Okay, you know who she is. You know you can get to her. She will trust you. I need you to tell her that the dragon is coming here.
How far away is it?
We're not sure.
She says it completely decimated. It destroyed every building.
Are you all that is left?
Me and there's 24 of us survived. That's half the population. My good friends of mine. And she's just like, obviously, like traumatized.
The Sunblights will not rest until they destroy every single person in 10 towns. I need you to go and tell the speaker to prepare for an attack. Can you do that?
I could do that. Got the guards actually like grab her and say, like, we can take care of this. And they take her quickly and actually put her on a horse, ride her through the town. What do you do?
Very good.
All of these people outside the gate, nobody's
They're slowly getting them in. They're basically like just trying to treat their wounds. Mm-hmm. Like just when a bunch of people like hurt showed up, it was just easier to do it now.
As they're slowly being shuffled in, Fang is, I imagine, kind of touching various injured people to gauge their injuries, and he's kind of overwhelmed with how much damage has been done, and he gets overwhelmed, and he kind of speaks out, and he says, "Everyone listen." He's like, "If you are injured, take shelter, find a cleric, and get yourselves fixed up. Anyone who is willing to fight, find yourselves a ranged weapon. Anyone who would like to evacuate Icewind Dale, head southward now. You've all heard by now, a dragon is approaching. You are in charge of your own fates today. Icewind Dale will stand or fall. Where you go for it is up to you." Fang will kind of start to usher, like injured, toward the gate.
Okay. Philin kind of like does one of these claps. Actually, Fang, take an inspiration.
Oh, that was nice.
That Trax will say, "Oh, nice speech."
Fang's on a mission right now, just getting everybody to help whoever needs it.
Bryn Shander is a pretty big place. It has a population of 1,200. Spitz, you haven't really been, because this is the most urban. It's actually a walled city. The only other walled city in 10 towns is Targos, but this is like pretty urban. So you haven't really been. I don't know if you've been inside the city at all.
I don't think she has.
Yeah.
So she's just a little awkward right now. Overwhelmed.
Yeah, you never met the speaker in Bryn Shander, so you're not really sure who that is. I'm not sure Spitz would know who it is here. Some guards come out, and what can you tell us about the dragon? Did you see it?
It is mechanical in nature, covered in a mineral known as chardolin.
And they're kind of like listening on your every word.
If you have any way to protect yourself from radiance, I recommend doing so. Its breath weapon is a radiant weapon. It will strafe while attacking. We are unsure if it currently has any means to fight on foot.
We have ballistas we can pull out of storage and then get up to the walls.
East Haven put up a fight, and it left after a short time. Perhaps if you fight here, you can stave it off again.
We are going to head towards Targos. If it falls, we will come back here.
Where is the dragon currently?
I would guess on its way, if not reaching Lonelywood or Tourmaline. Its flight path is counterclockwise through the 10 towns.
Okay, I will pass word along to the speaker and the sheriff. And
Thank
he
you.
takes off. What would you like to do?
Well, hitting the road?
Just cut through the middle.
Targos.
Yeah, let's do it.
As quickly as possible.
You take off. It's easier to go around the city than go through it. It's faster.
Are we going north or south around?
Probably south.
South,
I think
okay.
that to the south, it's more of a flat. You get down.
Okay.
Because Bryn Shander is built upon a hill
Gotcha.
overlooking. Normally, people would go through because you want to like rest and shelter here, but it's flatter to the south.
Okay.
So you can just come down off the east way and slowly make your way around to the road on the other side. You have the road leading to Targos is 3 miles. You head that direction?
We'll head that direction.
Valen, like looking over at Fang, nodding, looking at the other 2 wagons. Like, we've got this. She's like kind of muttering to herself. It's like steeling herself for battle. The rest of you, what are you thinking right now? Donar.
Donar has been focused on Brune, actually, this whole time, learning that there are only 24 survivors from Dugan's Hole, and he's thinking to himself, maximum saving of people from here on out. If we can't save everyone. Save enough. No, not save enough, but save as many as we can for the homies.
Trax, what are you thinking right now?
As much as Trax is trying to think about saving everyone, he can't stop thinking about Vulu and his real body. That either he might be dead, or he might evacuate to where they are.
Brune, what are you thinking?
At the beginning of all of this dragon stuff, Brune was sure that Saloon brought him here to conquer the dragon and become worthy of going back home. But throughout the travels and the destruction, he started to think that it's more about saving as many people as he can rather than killing the dragon itself.
Spitz, what are you thinking?
Spitz is thinking about all that she's seen and all that she's taken in. She is, like, making sure she has all of her javelins ready. There is a fire of rage building inside of her.
Yeah,
You've seen much death and destruction today.
Yeah. She just is so upset at how this unnatural, horrible thing is destroying this place that she loves so much. So to her, she's gonna do everything she can to kill this thing. So she's preparing.
Fang, what are you thinking?
So Fang has come into a little bit of new information that no one else is aware of in his travels here. Listeners, if you want to know what that information is, subscribe to our Patreon and check out some of our bonus content. But Fang, because of his travels and what he has what has recently come to light, he is devastatingly worried about his parents and where they could have been at the moment the dragon was released, what they were doing, who they were with, and he's just pleading to, as much as to kind of echo what Zach, as much as he wants to be focused on the people of 10 towns, he's focused very much on his parents right now, and potentially being at a breaking point when it comes to his promise to them.
As your sleds travel along the road, the wooden walls of Targos up ahead, the frozen lake, Mare Dualdon in the distance, the camera flies back up. You can see all of the valley below. The camera moves quickly to Lonelywood, where a falcon is sitting on the post outside of Nimsy Huddle's home, and she's listening to a recording, and she shouts at everyone, "Children, pack up! Russell! Run around the town! Get everyone's attention! We have to evacuate now!" The camera moves up into the air again and flies over to Caer Konig, where the dragon is raging through the town, its claws tearing building upon building down to its foundation. Up on top of the hill, you see a dragonborn holding a sword, and with a breath, charges down the hill, holding the sword over his head. For Caer Konig! Rushing down the hill, and that's where we're going to stop for the evening.
Trovis, no!
Oh my god.
Travis!
My heart rate this whole entire
What a
night.
game, Ron.
Oh
Yeah.
my
Take a point of
God.
inspiration, Ron.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Take
Thank
them
you.
all.
Ron, you're amazing, but also fuck you.
Sorry.
Rat
sorry.
bastard.
That's where Ron operates.
Thank you. Thank you all so much. This has been a wonderful, wonderful episode. And everything we worked toward these past 30 episodes has been building to this epic moment. And I'm really excited for where this is going next. My name is Ron Murphy. You can find me on Twitter at Ron88KeysRBDM. Please subscribe and leave us a review on Podchaser or Apple Podcasts, and share us with all your friends. Please join our Patreon
Yeah.
for extra. You can get your episodes early and get bonus content, and hopefully a lot more in the future. Follow us on Twitter at Severed Sons D&D, and we have a Discord as well. Thank you to Wizards of the Coast, D&D Beyond, Roll20. And thank you to Syrinscape, Andrei Sitkoff, and the Monument Studios for the amazing sound effects and music. Stay frosty!
If Russell dies, we riot.
Ron, you earned those letters tonight.